People living in Sauk County are being asked to voluntarily evacuate right now, but it might not be so voluntary for some soon as the Baraboo River continues to rise.
And Sauk County deputies are investigating why a car drove into the Wisconsin River overnight, killing one of the passengers.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 This Morning, 6 a.m. now on this Wednesday, August 29th. A little bit nicer outside.
A little bit nicer. Still hundreds, if not thousands, of people without power in our area,
that's not
though.
Nice. I don't mean to minimize any of but it was the contrast.
There will be sunshine today.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a much better forecast
Yes.
today. Mother Nature has not been nice to us over the last week, dropping copious amounts of rain across southern Wisconsin. Flood warnings are still in effect for areas from the Dells northward, our northwestern viewing area. Many roads closed due to flooding in that location. We'll talk about traffic in just a second. The flash flood watches, though, have been canceled for the rest of southern Wisconsin. Here's a look at satellite and radar trends. Good news, the rain has moved out of the area. You still may be experiencing a little bit of drizzle. That's too light to show up on the radar map, but skies are already clearing to the north and west, so we'll look for some more sunshine later today. Clouds giving way to partly sunny skies with highs only in the upper 60s. Noticeably cooler, but definitely less humid today. Here's a look at your first alert traffic update this morning. We're still dealing with lots of road closures in the downtown area on the isthmus due to some flooding there, but no major accidents to report in the region. Portions of Highway 14 are still closed due to flooding and washed out bridges. And here's what it looks like in our northwestern viewing area. Too many roads to even count that are closed this morning due to flooding. And in some spots, the water is still rising as it works its way downstream. So definitely, if you encounter a flooded road, turn around, don't drown.
Baraboo River, Kickapoo River, all kind of heading in that direction.
Yeah, very high.
All right, thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
We start the news this hour with a developing situation where about 400 people are stuck on train tracks here in Wisconsin. You're looking at video and pictures from Portage, where one of those trains has been stranded on the tracks since yesterday afternoon. The other train was forced to stop between Tomah and Wisconsin Dells because of the weather yesterday afternoon. A family member of a couple of passengers on that train says that it's going forward and backwards this morning, trying to figure out the best course of action. The hotel systems in those cars are still working, so passengers and the crew are still on board. They are comfortable. They are safe. We are continuing to follow this story, though. Leah is going to have an update in our next half hour.
That's miserable. Absolutely
no
horrible.
kidding.
6:02 right now. There are still interstates closed this morning near Portage and Mauston. State and county highways closed in Sauk County as well.
They're watching the Baraboo River rise. That's causing voluntary evacuations. And Josh Spreiter is live just south of Laval this morning with the latest. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, we're about a mile south of Laval on County Highway 58, and this was as far as close as we could get to Laval because of the still rising floodwaters. Just check out how fast this water is rising. We placed that stick there around 20 minutes ago, and it's already 10 to 15 feet past that stick, so that gives you an idea of how fast that water's moving. Voluntary evacuations are underway right now. Like I said earlier, most roads are closed in the area. We had to snake our way around just to get here, as many back roads are also closed after we went through the Reedsburg area. Much of Sauk County experienced flash flooding yesterday, but the area is also preparing for flooding along the Baraboo River today and later this week. After northern counties got around a foot of rain, officials are looking upstream, expecting a delayed reaction to all of the water. They say the Baraboo River could rise as much as 10 feet later today. Going up from the Sauk County Sheriff's Office, they say if you live in those low-lying areas like Laval or the towns around here, have a plan in place in case you need to leave. At this hour, Sauk County Emergency Management says there are still free sandbags available at many locations in the area. Right now, there is a shelter in place for any residents at the Reedsburg High School. A pretty crazy situation out here, guys. As you can tell, the rising water by the second out here. We've already had to move back a couple of times. We'll continue to provide those updates throughout the morning. But again, that shelter in place at Reedsburg High School, they're saying avoid the area. And always remember, if you see that standing water in the roadway, turn around, don't drown.
That's best advice. We just got an email from Sauk County authorities basically talking about all the road closures, and it looks like the whole county is closed down. So be careful up there. Thank you, Josh. So along the Wisconsin River, our other big story this morning, one man is dead after his car went into the water. You're looking live at the Merrimack Ferry Landing right now along Highway 113. That road and the landing are back open at this hour as Sauk County deputies look into how that car ended up submerged in Lake Wisconsin, in the Wisconsin River right there. Christina Laurie has more for us this morning from the News Center. Good morning.
Good morning, Adam. We're expecting an update from the Sauk County Sheriff's Department after 7 o'clock this morning. But here's what we do know right now. Sauk County Sheriff Chip Meister says there were 2 people in the car when it plunged into the water off the Merrimack Ferry Landing along the Wisconsin River. The woman in the car was able to get out and swim to safety. The man, however, was unable to do so. The 2 reportedly drove into the lake around 9 o'clock Tuesday night. The woman tells officials they thought they were driving along a normal road. The car was found about 25 feet offshore in 15 feet of water. It's unclear right now if the situation was flooding related. Again, we're waiting to hear more information from the Sauk County Sheriff's Office sometime after 7 this morning, and we'll be sure to pass that information along on our website, channel3000.com.
Christina Laurie reporting live from our newsroom this morning. Thank you.
We expect to hear from Madison Mayor Paul Soglin later this morning as city engineers continue to monitor water levels on the isthmus. Now, Mayor Soglin released a statement last night saying he is relieved that the city got lower rain totals than what was initially predicted or forecasted. With drier weather today and tomorrow, the risk of flash flooding did go down overnight here in Madison, but the city is expected to release more water from Lake Mendota today, which could mean more flooding downtown. There are lane closures on roads like First Street this morning and East Johnson, East Main, parts of Livingston and Mifflin. They're all shut down to traffic. Governor Walker is expected to be outside La Crosse later today to take a tour of the damage in the Coon Valley area. More than 200 people had to be evacuated during flooding there yesterday morning. Water there rose 5 feet overnight Tuesday. Now, rescue workers did go door to door to help people out of their homes and help them take shelter at the village hall and the elementary school there. The village is still trying to figure out the extent of the damage.
So the National Weather Service is investigating possible tornado damage across the central part of the state. Now, the damage extends from southern Marquette County across Green Lake County and into Fond du Lac County. You can see all of the wind damage and the wind gust reports. Those are the yellow and the green dots you see there on your screen. The red dots are reports of possible tornadoes. National Weather Service meteorologists are going to be in Marquette County specifically today to survey that damage in person. You're looking at video from Oxford. That village is about an hour and 20 minutes north of Madison. High winds there, knocked down trees and power lines. Paramedics, though, said nobody reported getting hurt in that storm.
So Governor Walker has declared a state of emergency for much of the area that was hit during this latest round of wind and rain. Fond du Lac, Juneau, La Crosse, Monroe, Vernon, and Washington counties now all join Dane County in dealing with the damage from flooding this week. They are all under a state of emergency this morning. The western part of the state saw up to a foot of rain in the span of just 24 hours.
So if your home or business was flooded after you get the water out, the health department wants you to look for signs of mold. Public Health Madison, Dane County officials say if you can dry out flood damage within 24 to 48 hours, you're probably going to be okay. But after that, mold will likely grow. So you're encouraged to wash that mold off with a mixture of bleach and water. But if your entire basement is affected, for example, they're recommending you just call a restoration company. That's a little too much to do as one person. If you rely on well water, too, this is important. The county is offering free test kits for people impacted by flooding because there could be bacteria as a result of all of this water.
We know this is a lot to think about, so we want to remind you that our First Alert Weather and Traffic app is free on any and all of your mobile devices. That's where you can get accurate hour to hour. I know I was watching the radar on that over the course of yesterday. You can find your forecast as well as up to the minute traffic information. Just search for the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app to download it on your phone or tablet.
It's almost 10 minutes after 6 on this Wednesday morning. Wisconsin lawmakers are talking today about a plan that could significantly lower health care costs for mostly healthy people. It would involve paying cash for services, not a deductible. We'll explain here in a couple of minutes.
Patty's explaining the aftermath of all of this rain some parts of our area have had to deal with over the last couple of days. She's actually sharing, though, a really nice First Alert forecast for today. That's next on News 3 this morning.
Good morning from the patio. The pavers in the patio are starting to dry out. It seems like the first time they've been dry in several days. We do have a break from the rain today, but the flooding for our northern viewing area continues as water works its way downstream. Flood warnings are in effect from La Crosse all the way over to Montello, areas from the Dells northward due to very heavy rain yesterday. Madison escaped with only about an inch of rain here at the airport, but you can see those red and orange colors indicating anywhere from 6 to over 13 inches of rain in some spots yesterday. And it was a pretty steady band across the central part of the state, all the way from La Crosse to Sheboygan. The far southern part of the state definitely not getting as much rain. We hardly saw any severe weather as well here from Dane County and points to the south. But our northern viewing area hit hard with strong thunderstorms producing wind gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour. So you're seeing many of those yellow and green dots, wind gusts and wind damage reports from those storms yesterday. Also, 2 reported tornadoes that the National Weather Service will survey today and check out that damage. Here's a look at Doppler track this morning. What you're seeing is a lack of rain, which is such good news. There is some drizzle still lingering across parts of the area, but as the atmosphere continues to dry out, our drizzle will come to an end as well. It's definitely a gray start this morning here in Madison. We still have cloudy skies and a temperature of 63 degrees. It's 70 in Janesville this morning under the clouds. By contrast, where skies are starting to clear out a little bit, temperatures are dropping back into the 50s from the Dells and points northward. Satellite and radar will show how those clouds are thinning to the north and west. We'll see that clearing line continue to work its way through the area slowly today, so some sunshine is in our forecast this afternoon. Dew points have already dropped quite a bit from this time yesterday, but check out those numbers in the northern part of the state. Dew points there in the low to mid 50s, and our dew point trend across southern Wisconsin is downward today as well. We'll settle with dew points in the mid 50s later on this afternoon, so it's going to feel much more comfortable. Future track takes any rain out of the area pretty quickly early today. Then we're looking at a clearing trend this afternoon. North winds, though, are going to keep kind of a fall feeling in the air today. Highs only in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. That's about 8 to 10 degrees cooler than we should be. Clear skies overnight tonight and cool temperatures will likely lead to some fog development for tomorrow morning. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have 2 days to dry out. Highs at 75 tomorrow with lots of sunshine. Chances for rain are back in the forecast Friday into Saturday, and then for the start of the next week. Not a guarantee right now, about a 40% chance for rain Friday and Saturday. Let's get an update on your First Alert traffic maps this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. Starting off with flooded roads all over the area right now in Columbia, Sauk, and Dane County. Actually, so many that it's hard to mention them all right now, but they're all having issues with road and highways being closed. Just make sure you plan ahead and take a look at your route before you head out today. So far, though, no major issues showing up on the Beltline in either direction. Things are moving well from end to end. Checking out roads here in Dane County, several roadways still closed, including Johnson Street, parts of Mifflin, and Highway 14 between Black Earth and Cross Plains. Other main routes leading into the city, though, that are open, they're moving along at the posted speeds right now with no major crashes or issues. Your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Yeah, a whole lot of icons to talk about this morning. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Hattie. So state lawmakers are talking about ways to help identify kids with dyslexia in Wisconsin schools. Dyslexia is a learning disorder characterized by having trouble reading. Right now, 40 states have laws specifically related to dyslexia and education. Wisconsin, though, is not one of them. There are conversations at the state capitol today about possibly requiring specific testing tools and reading assessments to help identify dyslexia moving forward.
State lawmakers are also talking at the Capitol today about getting Wisconsinites cheaper health care. It's called direct primary care and offers patients access to primary care doctors for a flat monthly fee without having to go through an insurance company. That could save people money if they don't have to pay their deductible. There are questions, though, about how it would be regulated. State lawmakers set up a committee this summer to study the issue before they meet again early next year. A planning firm is going to be in Janesville this week to figure out how or if the city should build a new ice arena. Janesville Gazette reports city leaders and the Visitors Bureau are splitting the cost to study the arena and the possible economic boost they could get from upgrading from the current facility, which opened in 1974 and was last renovated in 2012. That's where the Janesville Jets hockey team plays. Now, this study is going to cost more than $44,000 for the planning firm to research whether building a new ice arena would draw people from outside the city. There's a public session tomorrow night and one Friday morning at City Hall with those consultants.
So there's going to be a new self-checkout experience for some fans going to Lambeau this season. The team is trying out a new service in one section in particular where fans can buy pre-packaged food and drinks more quickly. You're seeing an example of that right there. If it is successful, the franchisee, just wait for this, we'll add some more. Meanwhile, the all-important game day menu is out. It includes lots of different brats, loaded nachos, and, Adam, maple bacon wrapped hot dogs. That looks like eggs right there. Let's bring some breakfast, Lambeau. Let's go. The team's chief executive chef says it takes a few months in the offseason to come up with all of these options for its fans.
Oh, that looks good.
I know, I'm really hungry now. And speaking of food, we have more to talk about. Madison's food truck owners are sweating a decision tonight at the city's vending committee. It's picking where those trucks can park, and it's not just an open lottery here. We'll tell you why one truck gets to park on the Capitol Square and another might not, next on News 3 this morning.
Might be the first day in a while where eating outside is not going to be uncomfortable. The humidity is way down today. Hattie says we're looking at a pretty nice forecast today. She's updating the next chance for rain when News 3 this morning returns.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. We start with clouds this morning, but at least the rain has ended. Flooding continues though, and it's a big concern for our northwestern viewing area. Flood warnings continue through the day today, right until the afternoon tomorrow for areas north of the Dells. That area received nearly a foot of rain in some spots. Satellite and radar trends showing you, though, that the showers and thunderstorms have moved off to the east. Clouds are clearing as well, which is great news. We'll see some sunshine later on today. Temperatures starting in the 50s and 60s this morning, hitting highs only in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees this afternoon. Kind of a taste of fall in the air today. Summer, though, still in that extended forecast. We're back into the mid-70s tomorrow and then 80s for the upcoming holiday weekend. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Hattie. There's a new resource opening on Madison's west side to help people get into the workforce. The city's holding a groundbreaking later today on a neighborhood employment center on McKenna Boulevard. This is in the former Griff's restaurant space right across from Elver Park. The city of Madison is teaming up with the Urban League of Greater Madison to run that employment center, where they're going to offer job training and help connect workers with job opportunities. Just a day after announcing it would give $100 million to UW-Madison for a new engineering facility, Foxconn's announcing plans to create a $100 million fund for technology startups in our area. Aurora Health, Johnson Controls, and Northwestern Mutual will all contribute $25 million to what's being called the WISC-TV Valley Venture Fund. Foxconn CEO says the goal is to encourage innovation across the state as well as across the Midwest. The Taiwanese tech company is currently building a massive LCD panel factory in Racine County, promising to employ upwards of 13,000 people on that campus.
We are less than a week now from the first day of school. Some city leaders here in Madison are talking about programs to make sure students have enough food to eat. Second Harvest Food Bank is going to give a presentation later today about creating food pantries in schools. Dane County Food Council member says Second Harvest is exploring ways to get more healthy foods in front of kids and to get more schools to start those food pantries. According to Second Harvest, 1 in 6 kids living here in southwest Wisconsin struggle with hunger. In real estate and apparently in food truck vendoring, it's all about location, location, location. In Madison, city leaders are starting tonight to assign spots based on the number of seasons vendors have bought a license. A vendor can lose seniority. This was really interesting.
Yeah.
If they change their name, the name of the food cart, switch owners, redesign their cart's exterior, or make major changes to their menu. Some of the most popular locations include, you're seeing here, Library Mall and the UW campus and the Capitol Square. The vendor with the most years gets first preference.
That is really interesting.
That was
And
really
it is
interesting.
so location based. I mean, if you get a spot near campus or the square, like, you're set.
You're swimming in the cash.
Swimming in the cash.
6:25 almost right now on this Wednesday morning. Madison's water utility goes before state regulators today to pitch a 30+% rate hike. It's your chance to comment on this as well. We'll share how here in a couple minutes.
And we'll update the situation facing hundreds of people stuck onto Amtrak trains this morning in Wisconsin. Some have visited our state unwillingly for more than 18 hours. 18 hours. Leah Linshine shares the latest when News 3 This Morning returns.
Busy day for Sauk County deputies looking ahead to massive flooding today and a fatal car crash where someone drove off the Merrimack Ferry last night.
Many roadways north and west of the Madison Metro are closed this morning. I'm Josh Bretter live in Sauk County with the very latest on the still rising floodwaters.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the final half hour of News 3 this morning. 6:29 right now on this Wednesday, August 29th. Hey, at least it's cooler out.
At least it's cooler. I was trying to see still thousands of people without power this morning, so the coolness will certainly help. You can open the windows a little bit. Hattie is outside with arguably the best news of the morning, and that is dry weather, Hads.
Yes, we're drying out. Even the pavers underfoot here on the patio are starting to look dry, which is great news. You can definitely give the AC a break today. Temperatures will be significantly cooler than they were yesterday. Still dealing with flooding concerns, though, from northern Sauk and Columbia counties through the rest of our northern viewing area. Flood warnings are in effect for those locations for ongoing flooding concerns. Now, no additional rain, though, is expected today. Take a look at Doppler track, and you'll see that there are just a few sprinkles showing up in southeastern Wisconsin. We've had some patchy drizzle on and off here in the backyard weather patio as well. But as dry air works its way into the region, we'll see those sprinkles and drizzle come to an end. Cloudy skies this morning will continue to clear out, though, as we go through the day. So for the afternoon, partly sunny skies, but a little bit like fall today with highs in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. It's definitely going to be not as humid, though, as it has been the last couple of days. So that is a nice break. Here's a look at our traffic conditions this morning. Flooding is the big issue this morning rather than volume right now. Many roads, too many to mention, closed downtown due to flooding concerns. Still portions of Highway 14 blocked with high water there. And take a look at our far northwestern viewing area. All of those road closures due to flooding this morning. And again, the water continues to rise as it moves downstream. So be aware of the flooding situation and definitely don't drive on any flooded roadways. That's your first alert traffic.
Hattie, thank you so much. A lot of that flooding and the concern this morning is in Sauk County, and people living there are under voluntary evacuations this morning as deputies there investigate how a man died in the Wisconsin River.
In the Portage area, there are people stuck on two different Amtrak trains. We start our team coverage, though, with Josh Bretter in Sauk County, where, as we mentioned, voluntary evacuations are in effect this morning. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, guys. With daylight now, we're getting a better look at just how incredible this flooding is. Throughout the morning, we've been showing you just how much this water has moved. We are about a mile south of Laval on County Highway 58, and most roads in and out of the village are closed this morning as the water continues to rise, and that's why those voluntary evacuations are underway right now. Much of Sauk County experienced flash flooding yesterday, but the area is also preparing for flooding along the Baraboo River today and later this week. After northern counties got around a foot of rain, officials are looking upstream, expecting a delayed reaction to all of that water. They say the Baraboo River could rise as much as 10 feet as the week goes on, going up from 12.5 feet to 22.5 feet. The Sauk County Sheriff says if you live in a low-lying area near Laval or any of the towns nearby, have a plan in place in case you need to leave. Right now, Sauk County Emergency Management says there are still sandbags available at many locations if it's not already too late for you to do so. For any residents unable to get to their home, there is a shelter in place this morning at Reedsburg High School, and anybody is invited to use that right now. Remember, if you see standing water, turn around, don't drown. Officials are urging anyone to stay away from the area. And this morning, we've even seen some little critters trying to escape that flood water. I'm kind of dancing around here, guys, but definitely a very dangerous situation up here in Sauk County.
A lot of people without power in that area as well from Alliant Energy. All right, Josh Bretter reporting live for us. Thank you.
All right, let's take a live look this morning at another area in Sauk County, the Merrimack Ferry Landing. It is back open this morning after a car drove into the water, killing one of the people inside. Christina Laurie has more on that investigation from the News Center. Christina, good morning.
Good morning, Danica. We're expecting an update from the Sauk County Sheriff's Department after 7 o'clock this morning, but right now, here's what we do know. Sauk County Sheriff Chip Meister says there were two people in that car, when it plunged into the water off the Merrimack Ferry landing along the Wisconsin River. The woman in the car was able to get out and swim to safety. The man, however, was unable to do so. Dive crews spent multiple hours overnight trying to recover his body. The man and woman reportedly drove into the lake around 9 o'clock last night. The woman told officials they thought they were driving along a normal road. The car was found about 25 feet offshore, submerged in 15 feet of water. It's unclear right now if the situation was flood related. Again, we're waiting to hear more information from the Sauk County Sheriff's Office sometime after 7 o'clock this morning, and we'll be sure to pass that information along on air and on our website, channel3000.com.
All right, Christina Laurie reporting live from the News Center. Thank you, Christina.
6:34 right now, and around 400 Amtrak passengers, 400, are stuck on at least 2 separate trains here in the state of Wisconsin because of all the flooding that we've had. Leah Lynch has been talking with family members on social media this morning. She's in studio with what's going on. Good morning.
Good morning. 2 different trains, one in Portage headed from Chicago, the other in Toma headed from Seattle. They're both stopped on the tracks and they've been there for hours, one well over 12 hours. That train in Toma has been stopped since at least 3 in the afternoon yesterday. The Portage train sometime yesterday evening. Now Amtrak has confirmed to us over the phone there's water over the railways in some places. They're in touch with the owner of the railway, that's Canadian Pacific, who's working on reopening the rails. They say the trains are meant to be slept on and that all of the operations on board are working fine, but they won't start running again until it's safe to move. Now we're talking to one woman whose 81-year-old father has been stuck since yesterday afternoon on that train. She says he's only had 1 meal in that time. We're talking to other passengers who say confusion is rampant on those trains. They start to move, then they stop. No one's even sure which direction they're moving in. We're hoping to learn more from Amtrak coming up here. We'll bring that to you right here on News 3 this morning and over on channel3000.com.
A lot of confusion. Oh, yeah, that sounds awful. All right, Leah Lynch reporting for us. Thank you so much, Leah.
6:35 right now. We are continuing to watch what's going to happen with a Confederate monument that is at a Madison cemetery. The head of Madison's Landmarks Commission expects alders to challenge his agency's decision to keep that monument there at Forest Hill Cemetery. Stu Levitan told the State Journal the commission's vote on Monday to preserve the history at the site would likely be appealed. The alder for that area, neighbors, maybe the City Parks Division, any of them could call for the Common Council to vote on removing that monument for a second time this summer. They've already taken that vote and voted to do so. In this case, the council will need simply a majority vote to overrule the commission.
And there's a chance for neighbors who are not so happy with the city increasing parking permit costs to voice their opinion a little later today. That permit allows people to park for longer than the 2 hours posted where they live. The price of those residential permits are up 50% from last year, meaning they'll cost $42. Now, people can learn more about the increased cost and ask questions about the decision tonight at Covenant Church on South Seago Road. That public hearing starts at 6 p.m. Thousands of people are expected to honor the memory of Senator John McCain today at the Arizona State Capitol. We'll have the latest on that in the morning sprint.
First, though, we're going to go to Janesville and protests over a district attorney's decision that some are calling racist. The news is back in the morning on News 3 this morning. Welcome back to the program. The time in the morning we always ask you to share a little bit of what's going on in your world with us. And Shelly posted this on Facebook for me. She knows I was into this flowers kick. So I'm just going to show off this wonderful color and the vibrancy of that, since we've had so much gray lately and still clouds out this morning. So thank you so much for sharing, Shelly. We appreciate it.
Feels very sunshiny, and
Yes.
I think we deserve that and need that. Shelly, thanks again. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, and Adam and I share our favorites every morning here on the program. 6:40 right now, and the family of a man allegedly killed by his ex-girlfriend is protesting a prosecutor's decision to not charge her with the crime. Friends and relatives of Robert Thomas Jr. were outside the Rock County Courthouse yesterday calling for justice after the district attorney chose not to file reckless homicide charges against this woman, Serena Stone. The 20-year-old was arrested last week after police say she stabbed and killed Thomas Jr. The district attorney says the couple had a history of domestic abuse and violence, and there's reason to believe that Stone acted in self-defense. Thomas Jr.'s family claims the DA is giving Stone preferential treatment because she is white. The DA's office would not comment on the case itself, but said there would be conversations with the victim's family later this week.
63 degrees, 641 right now. We are going to start to dry out today. A lot more comfortable outside already this morning. Temperatures, humidity levels are down. Hattie's going to let us know how long all of this will last here in a couple of minutes.
First, though, we want to know if you have a kiddo turning 3 soon. Let us help you celebrate by sending their picture over to News 3 this morning. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You are looking live right now on the west side of Madison from the WISC Skycam here. And you can see the clouds there this morning. They are going to move out, though, this afternoon and hopefully help dry up some of the water that's just standing pretty much around our entire viewing area this morning. Hattie's going to have an update on the forecast coming up in just a moment.
So it's going to be the first day in a while, weather-wise, we can actually take a long hike or a long bike ride. And one of the most popular trails in Wisconsin set to get longer. Dane County and the city of Madison are looking to buy 40 acres to connect the Ice Age Trail at Woods Road in the town of Verona. It's going to cost $2 million overall. The city is going to pay $1.5 million of that fee. Dane County board members will authorize their share of the payment at a meeting tonight. It starts at 6:30 at the Conservation Center here in Madison.
It does seem like a really long time, Hattie, since we've been looking forward to maybe spending some time outside.
Yeah, but I think you can today. We'll have lower humidity and much more comfortable conditions. Take a look at the most recent flood bulletins. The National Weather Service in La Crosse now has canceled some of the counties around La Crosse, but still north of the Dells, those flood bulletins continue this morning through the day today. Ongoing flooding concerns in parts of Adams and Juneau County, as well as northern Sauk and Columbia counties. This is why 24-hour precipitation estimate from the radar shows you a band from Viroqua all the way over to Sheboygan with very heavy rain. And there are spots through this band where over a foot of rain is estimated to have fallen in the last 24 hours. So tremendous amounts of rain. By contrast, much lighter amounts for the far southern part of the state, only around an inch here in Madison. Now, in addition to the heavy rain yesterday, we did have some severe thunderstorm activity, lots of wind damage reports and high wind gust reports, as well as 2 reports of tornadoes over the last 24 hours. The National Weather Service has said that they're going to go out and survey the damage to see if those tornadoes did occur. Doppler track, though, showing you a good trend this morning. A few sprinkles popping up on the radar map here and there, maybe a little drizzle as well. I've had some in the backyard weather patio, but overall a drying trend is forecast for today. The band of showers and thunderstorms will track across Illinois into the northeastern part of the country through the day today, but it is raining in Chicago this morning, not causing any flight delays right now, but that may slow travel down in the city just a little bit. Elsewhere across the country, good news, all green airplanes, so no delays in any of the major airports across the country. Here's your travel forecast. The north central part of the country, dry and beautiful. 88 in Denver today. That's quite warm. Showers and thunderstorms through the midsection of the country, heading into the mid-Atlantic, but dry on the west coast as well. It is going to be a little cool in the western Great Lakes region. High pressure building in. We'll see that scour out some of the clouds through the day today, especially in western Wisconsin. That'll keep things quiet for at least a couple of days for us. No rain today or tomorrow in the forecast. Now, as we head towards the upcoming holiday weekend, here's another storm system working its way into the region. Out ahead of that system, things are going to warm up again, and we may see some more moisture headed into the area. Current conditions this morning, we start in the low 60s with cloudy skies. To the north and west, though, temperatures are in the 50s. Dew point trend is downward today, so feeling much more comfortable as we head towards the afternoon. And again, skies will clear today with a high of 70 in New Glarus and Evansville, 68 today in Sun Prairie. To the west, we're looking at 68 in Prairie du Chien as well as Fenimore. And to the north, a little cool in Mauston and Adams with temperatures right around 67 degrees. But no rain again. That's the most important thing, a chance to dry out today. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have temperatures that are back in the 70s starting tomorrow. Chances for rain return Friday into Saturday. At this point, though, it's not a guarantee. We will be back into the 80s, though, for the upcoming weekend. Here's a look at our Pet Walk forecast. Easton Percy in Brooklyn. Is that not the guiltiest look ever?
Guilty. So guilty. Oh my goodness, that is priceless.
Supposed to go for a walk probably, but had
And
other
not a
ideas.
drive.
I'm going to go for a drive instead.
Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
We have an update on the flooding in Sauk County coming up in the morning sprint right here on News 3 this morning.
The
6:51 time now for the morning sprint. Hattie has a much needed break from the rain today. It's going to be much cooler as well. Christina Laurie is looking into the death of a man after his car ended up in the Wisconsin River.
We start though with Josh Sprider, who's live in Sauk County, where voluntary evacuations are underway this morning because of flooding. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Many roadways near Laval and Reedsburg are impassable this morning, and those floodwaters are still rising. That's why those mandatory or voluntary evacuations are underway right now. After northern counties got around a foot of rain Tuesday, officials are looking upstream, expecting a delayed reaction to all of the water. They say the Baraboo River could rise as much as 10 feet this week. The Sauk County Sheriff says if you live in a low-lying area in Laval or nearby, have a plan in place in case you need to leave. If it's not already too late, there are still free sandbags available at many locations. There is also a free shelter available at Reedsburg High School.
We're expecting an update from the Sauk County Sheriff's Department very soon after one man died after driving his car into the water off the Merrimack Ferry landing along the Wisconsin River overnight. This morning, the road and landing are back open now as deputies turn their investigation into how the car ended up in the water. According to the Sauk County Sheriff Chip Meister, there were two people in the car. The woman was able to get out and swim ashore. The man, however, was unable to get to safety. It's unclear if the situation was flooding related. Be sure to stick with News 3 on air and online for updates on this developing story.
Christina, thank you so much. Governor Scott Walker will be outside of La Crosse today, touring the damage in the Coon Valley area. This is the area we showed you in particular yesterday morning. It got pounded with storms overnight. More than 200 people were forced to evacuate as flood waters rose more than 5 feet there. Rescue workers went door to door to try to help people out of their homes. Emergency officials opened a shelter at the village hall and the elementary school in that village. It's now assessing the extent of the damage.
We're expecting an update from Madison Mayor Paul Soglin this morning on flooding downtown. Conditions are not nearly as bad as feared after the city only got about an inch of rain yesterday. There will still be street closures, though, across downtown today, including one lane of First Street and lanes on East Johnson as well. City engineers are also planning to release more water from Lake Mendota today, which could further impact those streets on the isthmus.
400 passengers are stuck here in Wisconsin this morning where they don't want to be, inside an Amtrak train for upwards of 12 hours or more. Amtrak says one train in Portage headed from Chicago and another train in Toma headed from Seattle are both stopped on the tracks because of flooding conditions along the railway. The company says it's working with the owner of the rails to get updates on when they can start moving again, and that all operations on the trains are working, so passengers should be pretty comfortable. Passengers and their families back home, though, say there is widespread confusion on board, with the trains starting, then stopping again, though it's not clear in what direction they're moving. We're waiting to hear more from Amtrak this morning. We'll bring you that update over on channel3000.com.
And our forecast today calls for drier conditions across southern Wisconsin. We have just a few sprinkles lingering in southeastern Wisconsin that will continue to track out of the area today. Already some clearing taking place north and west of the Dells. So our forecast has temperatures climbing from the low 60s only into the upper 60s. A little bit cooler today with a high of 69. Should see some sunshine, though, for the second part of the day.
Thank you, Hattie. Thousands of people are expected to pay their respects to Senator John McCain today. He's going to lie in state in Phoenix at the Arizona State Capitol. That scenario will repeat in the nation's capital on Friday. The first of two funerals for the one-time presidential candidate and war hero will be Saturday. CBS This Morning's live in Phoenix just after 7 o'clock with the latest.
There's an effort being talked about at the state capitol today to get Wisconsinites cheaper health care. It's called Direct Primary Care. It offers patients access to primary care doctors for a flat monthly fee without having to go through an insurance company. That could save them money if they don't have to pay their deductible. There are questions, though, about how this would be regulated.
Madison residents have the chance to comment later today on a proposed rate hike that could have them paying $90 more per year for their water. This would be Madison Water Utility's first rate hike since 2015, comes as it faces a $6 million deficit. Today's public hearing starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the new state office building at Hill Farms.
Dane County Park users have their first opportunity to comment on paying more for some services today. Permits for cross-country skiing, mountain biking, and riding horses on county trails will go up by $6 under this proposed fee increase. It would cost $2 more for disc golf and $1 more for camping. Tonight's public hearing starts at 6:30 at the Lyman Anderson Conservation Center.
Dane County's Food Council is working on helping schools open up food pantries to give kids more access to healthy foods. Second Harvest is presenting to that council on the topic tonight. According to the nonprofit, 1 in 6 kids in our area don't have enough to eat.
All right, 6:56 right now. Still a lot of highways closed to the north and west of Madison. Let's see how that's affecting your drive this morning with Josh Tim. Hi, Josh.
Morning, guys. Yeah, reports from the DOT saying I-90 eastbound is closed between New Lisbon and Mauston due to flooding, and I-90 westbound still closed at the I-39 split near Portage. Make sure you plan an alternate route this morning. Westbound Beltline picking up between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. That's going to add 5 minutes to your drive. Plan on lane closures on inbound John Nolan from 9 to 3 through the end of the week for some shoreline reinforcement. And other main routes heading into Madison, they're moving along at the usual speeds with no major crashes or issues. With your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you very much, Josh.
Thanks.
And here's the view from the WISC-TV Skycam looking to the west. A little bit of clearing taking place, but grass still very green. That's not typical for this time in August. Usually it's pretty dry. Not the case here across southern Wisconsin. A few light showers popping up in the far southeastern corner of the state. They'll continue to move away from us today. Our temperatures will top right at 69 degrees this afternoon.
The cool weather will be welcome for the thousands of people still without power this morning. We'll keep you updated on the flooding and much more later today.